feeling when you're desperate for help on a website.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a billing issue, or maybe you're trying to figure out why a piece of software isn't doing what it promised, and you see that little icon in the bottom right corner, the chat bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You click it, praying for a human, but deep down you know exactly what's coming.
The spinning wheel of doom.
Mm-hmm.
Or, even worse, the instant cheerful, "Hi, I'm an automated assistant,"
Mm-hmm.
followed by, like, a list of articles that have nothing to do with your problem.
Exactly. It's like talking to a brick wall that's been programmed to be aggressively polite. It's so frustrating, a total waste of time. And honestly, for the last few years, that has been the AI promise for most businesses.
Right. We were promised digital employees, and what we got were glorified search bars.
But the source material we're digging into today claims that era is effectively over. We are looking at the 2026 roadmap and recent updates for a platform called Chatsistant.
And right off the bat, looking at their documentation, they seem pretty touchy about terminology. They really do not want to be called a chatbot builder.
I noticed that. They call themselves a no-code AI automation framework. Now, I have to be the cynic here for a second. Whenever I hear framework instead of tool, my brain translates that to complicated, expensive, and, requires a computer science degree.
Yeah.
Is this just marketing jargon to charge enterprise prices, or is there actually something different under the hood here?
It's a fair skepticism,
Mm-hmm.
but the distinction they're making is actually about architecture, not just marketing. The reason those chatbots we hate are so bad is usually because of a structural limitation.
Okay.
Chatsistant is trying to solve 3 specific failures that plague the current generation of bots. Hallucinations, where they lie, passivity, where they can't do anything, and complexity, that barrier to entry you just mentioned.
Right.
Their whole argument is that the chatbot as we know it is dead. They're pivoting entirely to what they call a synchronized AI workforce.
Yeah. Workforce. That implies a team. And that leads us to the biggest shift in their 2026 outlook, multi-agent orchestration. I want to unpack this because, to me, one bot sounds hard enough to manage. Why on earth would I want 10 of them?
To understand why, you have to look at why the superbot fails. For the last 2 years, everyone tried to build one bot to rule them all. You'd write this massive prompt like, "You are a helpful assistant. You know about sales and return policies and Python coding and our company history, and please be funny but professional."
Right, the Swiss Army knife approach.
Exactly. But LLMs suffer from something called context dilution. I mean, imagine I hire you for a job and I tell you, okay, from 9.00 to 9.15, you're the CFO. From 9.15 to 9.30, you're the janitor. Then you're the lead engineer. Then you need to write marketing copy.
I'd be terrible at all of them.
If I give you all those instructions at once, you're going to mess up. You'll start acting like a janitor during the board meeting.
I'd probably just quit. But I see the point. The AI gets confused about which hat it's supposed to be wearing.
Precisely. The attention mechanism in the AI just creates noise. So Chatsistant's architecture solves this by splitting the brain. They introduce a component called the AI Supervisor.
A supervisor?
Think of it as a receptionist or a traffic controller sitting at the front door of the chat.
So the supervisor doesn't answer the user's question?
No. The supervisor's only job is intent classification. It listens to you. If you come in hot, typing in all caps about a refund, the supervisor says, okay, this is a support issue, and the sentiment is negative.
Got it.
It then routes you instantly to a specialized support agent.
And that support agent has no idea how to sell the product?
None. It doesn't have the sales prompt. It doesn't have the pricing strategy in its context window. It only knows technical support and conflict resolution.
And I guess conversely, if you say, I'm looking to buy 50 seats for my team,
the supervisor routes you to the sales agent. That agent is prompted to be persuasive, to ask qualifying questions, and to close the deal.
Okay, conceptually I get it. Specialization of labor. But practically, if I'm a business owner using this no-code platform, doesn't this multiply my setup time?
You think so?
I mean, instead of writing one prompt, now I'm managing a supervisor, a sales agent, a support agent, a booking agent. It feels like I'm trading incompetence for administrative bloat.
You might think that, but it actually simplifies things. Writing one perfect 3,000-word prompt that covers every edge case without breaking is incredibly difficult.
Right.
Writing 5 simple 100-word prompts, "You are a sales bot. Here's the pricing, get the lead," is much easier to maintain. Plus, it prevents cross-contamination.
Ah, okay.
You don't want your aggressive closer sales personality leaking into a delicate conversation about a billing error.
That's a really good point. You don't want the bot trying to upsell someone who is trying to cancel their account.
Exactly. It safeguards the brand voice.
Yeah.
And this structure is what allows them to tackle that second big problem we mentioned, hallucinations, the confident liar.
This is the big one. This is why my layer friends won't touch AI with a 10-foot pole. They are terrified the bot will invent a legal precedent or offer a discount that doesn't exist. The documentation mentions RAG-powered accuracy. We hear RAG, retrieval augmented generation, all the time. It's a buzzword. What is Chatsistant doing that makes this actually reliable for 2026?
So standard acre is like an open book test. You ask a question, the bot searches your documents, finds the answer, and tells you. But traditional RAG is notoriously bad at chunking.
Chunking.
It's how the system breaks down your data to store it. Let's say you upload a PDF. Standard systems might just chop the text every 500 characters.
Okay.
If that chop happens in the middle of a sentence or splits a question from its answer, the AI loses the context. It gets confused. Chatsistant has completely overhauled their ingestion engine. They're using what's called semantic chunking.
Which means?
That means the system reads the document and understands where one idea ends and the next begins before it makes the cut. It keeps the context intact.
That's a big deal.
It is. They've also massively increased the vector capacities, basically the size of the library you can search and the retrieval speeds.
And what about the source material? Are we just talking about uploading text files? Because most of my knowledge isn't in a perfectly formatted Word doc.
That's the other major upgrade. They've expanded source management to include almost anything. You can sync internal knowledge bases, scrape websites, use CSVs for structured data like product catalogs, and this is the cool part, YouTube text extraction.
Wait, YouTube? So if I have a channel explaining how to use my product...
You feed the bot the channel URL, it extracts the transcripts from every video, chunks them, indexes them, and now your bot can answer questions based on a tutorial you recorded 2 years ago.
That is wild. It effectively turns your entire media library into a queryable database.
And because the supervisor enforces this RAG lookup, the bot is grounded. If you ask about a refund policy, it must find the chunk in your documents that discusses refunds.
And if it can't?
If it can't find it, it is instructed to say, I don't know, rather than making something up.
Which, for an enterprise, is the most important feature. I don't know, is safe. Sure, here's $1,000 is a disaster.
Precisely.
Okay, so we have a team of bots, and they're looking up the right answers. But here is where I usually get stuck with these tools. I have a great conversation with the bot. I agree to a meeting where I say I want to buy, and then the bot just sits there. It says, great, someone will email you. It's passive. It's a dead end.
That is the passivity problem. The brain in a jar syndrome. It can think, but it has no hands.
Right.
This is where Chatsistant is trying to differentiate itself as an automation framework rather than just a chat tool. They've integrated function calling and native webhooks directly into the chat flow.
Let's break that down. Function calling sounds technical. Does that mean I need to write code?
Not necessarily. Think of it as giving the bot tools. You tell the bot, if the user wants to book a meeting, use this tool. The tool is connected to your calendar API. So when the user says Tuesday at 3 p.m., the bot doesn't just say, oh, it actually reaches into the API and creates the event.
So it's the difference between a receptionist writing a note on a Post-it versus actually putting it in the computer.
Exactly. And they've built a massive integration ecosystem to make this easy. We're talking native support for Zapier, Make, Pipedream, VSSocket, Boost.Space, Integrately.
Can we walk through a concrete example? Let's say I'm using this for lead generation. Usually that means a form. Name, email, company size, budget. I hate forms. I usually close the tab when I see one.
Everyone hates forms. Conversion rates on forms are terrible.
Yeah.
With Chatsistant's action-based workflows, you replace the form with the conversation. The lead agent says, hey, what are you looking to solve? You answer. It says, that sounds interesting. How big is your team? You answer.
So it feels like a chat.
It does. But in the background, and this is the key, the bot is extracting those answers and saving them as variables.
So it's parsing my casual conversation into a spreadsheet?
Yes. It's filling out the form invisibly.
Yeah.
And once it has the critical variables, name, email, intent, it triggers a webhook.
And that webhook can do what?
That webhook could fire a make scenario that puts the lead into Salesforce, sends them a welcome email, and sends a Slack message to your sales team saying, hot lead on the site.
And all of that happens without a human lifting a finger.
Real time. The interface for the software becomes the conversation. You don't log in to update your profile, you tell the bot to update your profile.
That is a fundamental shift. But
Right.
to run all this, the supervisor, the semantic chunking, the extraction, you need a brain. And this is something that stood out to me in the update notes, the expanded LLM ecosystem.
Yeah, this is a big one.
Usually, platforms lock you in. We are powered by GPT-4, end of story. But Chatsistant seems to be playing the field.
They are completely model agnostic, which is a very smart strategic move for 2026.
Yeah.
They aren't betting on one horse. They let you ride the whole stable.
Well, looking at a list here, it's extensive. They have OpenAI's new GPT-5 series 5.1, 5.2. They have the reasoning models like GPT-o1 and GPT-o3 mini, but then they have Anthropic's Claude 3.7 Sonnet, Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro and Flash, and even DeepSeek.
DeepSeek is a big addition because of the cost efficiency.
But why does a user need this much choice? It feels overwhelming. Why shouldn't I just pick the smartest one, say GPT-5 or Claude Opus, and use that for everything?
Because in an enterprise environment, smartest isn't the only metric that matters. You have speed and you have cost.
Give me a trade-off example.
Okay, let's go back to that support agent. If its only job is to look up a return policy in a PDF and recite it, that is a low reasoning task. You do not want to pay for GPT-5 to do that.
Why not?
GPT-5 is expensive, and it can be slower because it thinks more. For that, you'd use Google Gemini Flash or Anthropic Haiku. They are lightning fast and cost pennies.
So you use the cheap, fast labor for the simple tasks.
Exactly. But if you have a legal analysis agent that needs to read a contract, find a loophole, and draft a response, you do not want the cheap model.
You want the heavy hitter.
You want the heavy hitter. You plug in Claude 3.7 or GPT-5. The multi-agent architecture allows you to mix and match these within the same workflow.
That's clever. So the supervisor routes the tough questions to the expensive brain and the easy questions to the cheap brain.
Which saves massive amounts of money at scale. And speaking of money, we have to talk about BY.
Bring your own key. I saw that acronym.
This is a huge deal for heavy users. Most SaaS platforms charge a markup on AI usage. They buy tokens from OpenAI for a penny, and they sell them to you for 2 pennies.
Yeah.
That's their margin. It's the middleman tax.
Right.
Chatsistant allows you to plug in your own API keys directly from OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google. You pay the wholesale price for the intelligence.
Wow.
If you're running thousands of conversations a day, that difference is enormous.
It changes the economic model. You're paying for the chassis, the Chatsistant framework, but you're buying your own gas.
That's the perfect analogy.
I want to pivot to the scary stuff. Enterprise readiness. Because if I'm a bank or a healthcare provider or honestly just any company with private data, the idea of connecting my internal knowledge base to a chatbot sounds like a security nightmare.
It is.
What if a random stranger finds the bot and starts querying my proprietary data?
This is a major focus in their recent changelog. Security is the headline feature for the 2026 updates. The first line of defense is user identity verification.
How does that work technically? Because I don't want to just rely on a generic password.
It's a token-based verification flow. Let's say you embed this bot in your member's dashboard behind a login. When the chat widget loads, it executes a secure handshake, a POST request to your server to verify the user's session token.
So if I'm not logged into the main site, the bot doesn't even talk to me.
It won't even load. It ensures that internal bots stay internal. And they also have granular permissions. You can set it so that the junior sales agent can access the pricing PDF, but cannot access the strategy 2027.docs file.
Okay, that helps. But what about the rogue bot scenario? We've all seen the screenshots where a bot gets confused, enters a loop, and starts talking nonsense. If I'm a brand, that's humiliating.
They have a failsafe for that called human support escalation. The AI is constantly monitoring the conversation. It's not just listening to words, it's analyzing sentiment.
So it knows if I'm getting mad.
It detects frustration, or it listens for keywords like human, agent, or help.
Okay.
If those triggers are hit, the bot pauses. It stops trying to answer.
Okay.
It sends a notification to your support team via Slack, email, or SMS, and a human can jump into the console and take over the chat session seamlessly.
Does the user know they've been switched?
Ideally, no. It just looks like the agent suddenly became very empathetic and smart. It's a safety net. You aren't leaving your customer stranded with a confused robot.
I saw something in the notes about background agents. That sounds a little spooky. Like wiretapping? What is that?
It's less spies and more automated business intelligence. A background agent is an LLM that reads the conversation as it happens, but never speaks to the user.
So it's just watching.
It's tagging and analyzing. For example, you could have a background agent scanning for churn risk. If the user mentions competitor or cancel or too expensive, the background agent silently tags that user in your CRM as at risk and maybe triggers a task for your customer success VP to call them.
Wow, so the conversation is being mined for data in real time.
It turns every chat into a structured data set. It can identify feature requests, bugs, or high-value leads without the user ever having to fill out a survey.
That is smart. It's proactive. It changes the dynamic from dealing with tickets to analyzing conversations.
Exactly.
So we've covered the architecture, the brains, the automation, and the security. But the outline mentions a 2026 outlook specifically regarding voice. We've had Siri and Alexa for a decade. Well, let's be honest, they aren't great.
Not great is putting it mildly.
What is Chatsistant changing here?
The documentation points to the Voicebot architecture as the next frontier. They note that the infrastructure is in place now, but the full release is projected for 2026. The goal is to solve the biggest problem with voice AI, latency.
That's the awkward pause, right? You say something, silence for 3 seconds, then the bot speaks. It feels like a walkie-talkie, not a conversation.
Exactly. It kills the illusion. To have a real conversation, you need near-instant response times.
Yeah.
You also need interruptibility.
Being able to cut the bot off.
Right. If the bot is reading a long paragraph and you say, wait, no, stop, the bot needs to shut up instantly. The 2026 vision is fully conversational AI voice agents that can handle booking, support, and sales with that level of natural flow.
So I could call a restaurant, speak to their booking agent, negotiate a time, and it feels like talking to a hostess.
That's the goal. And it ties into the other big trend they're seeing, custom-built systems.
Explain that shift.
Well, for the last few years, everyone built generic customer service bots, just general-purpose helpers. The market is moving toward highly specific industry niche workflows.
Like what?
A real estate agent bot that is specifically trained on pre-qualifying mortgage applicants. A healthcare bot that handles patient intake and IPIL compliance. A legal discovery bot. The Chatsistant community is moving toward quality over quantity.
It's about business function over just chatting.
Precisely. It's not about having a bot that can tell you a joke. It's about having a bot that can execute a specific job better and faster than a human could.
It seems like the maturation of the industry. We're done playing with toys. We're building tools.
And we are building automated businesses.
So to bring this all together, Chatsistant has evolved from a simple builder into a comprehensive framework. It balances AI autonomy through those multi-agent teams in RAG.
With human control, like escalation and verification, and crucially, it democratizes it. You don't need a team of 10 engineers to build an enterprise AI team anymore.
You can just do it yourself.
You can orchestrate it yourself using this no-code framework. You hook up your data, your API keys, your software ecosystem, and you build the workforce you need.
It's empowering, but it's also a little mind-bending to think about where this ends up.
Yes.
Here's a thought to leave you with. As we look toward 2026 with these voice bots and invisible background agents, we are fast approaching a world where the interface for software isn't buttons or forms or drop-down menus. It's just language.
It raises the question, if your software can talk, listen, and do the work for you, do you even need a user interface anymore? Or does the website itself become obsolete, replaced by the agent?
Something to mull over the next time you're clicking through a complex menu. Thanks for listening to this deep dive into Chatsistant. We'll catch you on the next one.
Take care.